gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Our guest today is ALEAHA LOCAPO. ALEAHA is the co-founder of Do the Loving Thing, a social media group whose mission is to emphasize the power that love and random acts of kindness have on people's ability to connect and impact the lives of others. The group's inspiration was taken from LOCAPO's uncle, Jeffrey Koenig, who passed away unexpectedly on March 14th, 2018, and whose legacy is honored by the group's title, his life's mantra, to always do the loving thing. ALEAHA holds a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree from IU South Bend, where she was awarded several leadership award recognitions, participated in numerous fundraising events, engaged in speaking and mentoring events, and held prominent student leadership positions within the university. She was also honored to present the student address at her college commencement in 2011. Her philosophy is to live as an outgoing and energetic, enthusiast of life, abounding with love, kindness, grace, and empathy, with the desire to follow God's plan as he continues to write her life story. Aleah is a hospice nurse in South Bend, Indiana, who in her daily life strives to build and nurture relationships to the deepest level, enjoys inspirational and faith-based reading and writing, is frequently caught smiling, hugging, laughing, and dancing, enjoys rides in her Jeep Wrangler, delights in spending evenings by her fire pit, and appreciates life with her husband, Tony, their 3 dogs, and her dearest friends and family. Hi, Aleah, and welcome to the show.
Hello, gorgeous Kim. This is such an honor. I'm so excited.
Well,
what a day to spend talking about very important topics.
Well, I'm so excited that you were able to make this happen and that you could join us today. And I am so thrilled to share your mission with our listeners. And one of the first things I want to start with is tell me what made your uncle so special.
Absolutely. I grew up with being around my uncle, just like if you were around an older brother, a really close cousin, a really, truly very close friend. And he was one of a kind. Unfortunately, when he passed away, he was at the very young age of 52. But he truly dealt with a lot of hatred and people not being kind to him growing up in his life. And regardless of this, he chose kindness and he treated everyone with grace. He left every person truly uplifted after meeting with him. He was a hysterical person to be around, full of life, full of love. And, you know, this is just the most amazing way that my sister and I have come to find out to honor his legacy. And if he was alive today, he would be stunned. You know, he was very humble, very much a part of all of our lives. And he's missed very much daily, but he would just be thrilled to know that this has happened.
Well, you know, I resonate so much with that. So I lost Michael 2 years ago, and many people don't know, but our birthdays, we were actually 6 years and 1 day apart. And so we always celebrated our birthdays together. We would start celebrating the morning of his birthday, and then we would stop celebrating the evening of my birthday. So for years, 27 years, we celebrated our birthdays together.
Amazing.
And so the first year that I had to celebrate his birthday without him, I remember talking with a friend of mine, and I asked her, I was just really grappling with this. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've got to do something. I can't stay in bed all day. I need to do something. And I thought, what is it that he enjoyed doing that I would enjoy doing? And I thought, this is it. So he would have turned 57 that first birthday. And so we decided 57, 56, I think 57. And so we decided that we were going to go out and we were going to create 57 random acts of kindness in honor of Michael.
Wow.
And so I had these cards made up, and we left, oh my gosh, we went around it was I could not stop smiling that day.
Yes.
Because I thought it was such a wonderful feeling to do for others, just to surprise these people with a dozen cookies or a rose on their car, or to pay for the car behind you. So I so resonate with what you're doing in honor of your uncle, because I know so last year in 2000 and 2018, we did it just us. And in 2019, we opened these random acts of kindness. We had people in Maryland doing it in honor of Michael this year. And so we really want to make a bigger movement. So I so understand what you're doing to honor your uncle. It makes you feel good by doing good for others.
Yes, it does. And not only that, is you are truly bringing their spirit to life again, per se. It never dies, because when you see the reaction on the people, the recipient's face, you think of their life all over again. And I know that my uncle was always smiling. He had a beautiful sense of humor, a wonderful smile. And it is just amazing to know how every moment of our day is an opportunity to show someone else kindness from a very natural standpoint. So I think it's amazing what you've done to honor his life as well.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, too, it allows the legacy to continue on. So it's the same thing. Even though your uncle isn't physically on this earth anymore, you talk about even this, right? Mm-hmm. So we get to talk about his memory. He's still alive because we get to share everything about him.
It's amazing. It truly is. Every day I feel so inspired. And just to know that so many people around the United States and truly the world are a part of this group now. And your spinoff of what you were saying, that people were in Maryland were being a part of, what you guys did for him, and that day where you initiated all those acts of kindness. We are really only into the group just over a year now, but every year of the anniversary of the group is also the anniversary of his death.
Wow.
So this year, March 14th, we had a Do the Loving Thing Day. Truly, I only broadcasted this through social media, and it was tremendous to see the impact and the participation of people all over the United States, of course, mainly here in Indiana, but people who don't even know my uncle, did not even know, but what connected us was the model of kindness, that everyone was excited to participate. And everyone shared what they were doing that day on social media by picture, video, or just a few sentences of a reflection of what they did that day to make somebody else's day better.
Wow. And I was watching, you shared it too. It was the choir that was singing Lean on Me inside Chick-fil-A. And I sat there and I watched that with these huge tears in my eyes. And I thought, that's what the world needs more of. Right?
Exactly.
The world needs more of just spontaneous working into a big song in the middle of a public place. The world needs more of do the loving thing, right? What would happen if this would really catch fire and that people were doing this? I can't even imagine what our world would be like.
Absolutely. And to kind of lead into one of the things that I know we're going to talk about, but it's the perfect opportunity, is the reason why we created this group. It really goes beyond when my uncle passed. My sister and I are very, very dear friends. She and I had this desire in our hearts months before my uncle passed away to really bring a positive light to social media. Now, not that social media is life, but you know as much as I do that so many people are connected on there, Facebook, Instagram, just the whole scenario of social media in general.
Yes.
And we were really getting fed up. I was literally ready to get rid of my Facebook because I was so tired of all of the hateful, judgmental, negative, bad news, stereotypical boom boom postings that you see on there.
Yes.
And I said, Aleah, we've got to do something, so we always thought about it. We never knew what it was going to be called. We thought about Spread the Joy, Sister Spreading the Joy, something. And my uncle, truly, 4 days before he passed, it was a very catastrophic event. He passed away from major blood clots in his lungs that were from a history of, he didn't know he had pneumonia at the time. He had a history of cancer, multiple things going on that he just wasn't given any moment to know, oh, this is it.
Wow.
So the day that he passed, truly, we were sitting at Olive Garden in Mishawaka eating as a family. And I looked to her and her fiance, well, at the time, her fiance, now husband, said, you guys, let's do the loving thing. That's it. That's what you need to name the group. So that moment, I had my iPhone out and I figured out how to make a group, and I said, we're going to do it. And that's how it started. Just as simple as that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's not those big, you're right. It's one of those simple things. I remember, I was leaving one day to go do a speaking agreement or a speaking engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister Trisha was working at the salon. And I remember I was getting ready to leave and I turned around. She was always on me about my lipstick. Make sure you put your lipstick on. And I turned around to her and I said, don't worry. I promise to put my lipstick on when I get there. And she looked at me and she goes, that's the name of your next book. And I thought,
my gosh. That is phenomenal.
But it's the same thing, like do the loving thing, right? It just it just came out and then that's what you build on.
It just came out. And the beautiful part of all of this is I have so many aspirations for the group and so many things on a bigger schedule or a bigger scheme that I really feel like could happen one day. But honest to goodness, it's accomplishing and doing what it needs to do now. And we started off with a group really of just family and friends of my uncle and people in the community. He was very, very much a part of South Bend. And he actually was on the group of the 3 individuals who created the South Bend flag. So anytime you see the South Bend flag, that's my Uncle Jeffrey's legacy as well.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. I did not know that.
Yep. So he was a big part of that. And, if he knew that this was occurring, he would just be beside himself. But it is truly creating, another part of this too is it's an example of how to find the good even after tragedy strikes. Okay. And you know that just as much as I do, that when you bring honor and memory to a person's life in a positive, so many people want to be a part of that. I mean, it's just amazing to know that strangers I don't even know are on our page every day, reading, posting, and just embracing the message. And here's another cool thing is that do the loving thing. Eventually, when I figure out how to get this group trademarked legally, now, there is no other slogan out there except for this and ours.
Wow, that's awesome. So tell me, what's your favorite story of someone doing the loving thing?
To be very honest with you, the day that we had the year anniversary of his death this year, March 14th, I had scrolled through literally every single thing that people had posted about. And there was a story of a mother and her daughter. And I love when the kids are involved with this. Okay. So in our group, people can also, we'll get to the merchandise part of it later, but we have t-shirts and merchandise for the very young all the way to adults.
Okay.
And one of my friends who I've known for a while through my husband's sister, she and her daughter found out that the Center for the Homeless were low in stock of certain medications. She took her daughter to the Center for the Homeless. They had gotten all the meds that they had found out that were needed. I think her daughter's really only 8 or 9 years old. And they went there and they photographed the whole moment to see her joy and excitement of knowing that she was providing something that she knew that they needed. Mm-hmm. It was just a huge deal to me. I love the impact that the group is also bringing to the young generation through their parents, through their friends, family. And that's where it's going to take to keep this stuff going, the younger generation.
Well, it's interesting. So something stands out in my mind. Years ago, when my husband and I had talked about having children, we had a lady that he worked with that gave us a very good piece of advice. And she said, your child, when they are born, is an open book. And you are the one that fills the pages.
Yeah.
And I have never forgotten that as long as I live. And so what I think